And hello and welcome to another action-packed, exciting hour of the Smoky Mountain Rewatch Along Project. This is podcasting the way it used to be and the way you like it. This show is a production of the Something Else Podcasting Network, and it is episode number 115 of Smoky Mountain Wrestling from April 9th, 1994, Kate March 7th, 1994, at the Dungannon Elementary School in Dungannon, Virginia. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is the naked cowboy. It's Trae. Trae, how the hell you doing today?
I am not sure why I'm naked, but other than that, I'm lovely and happy to be here. How are you?
I'm great, thank you for asking. It's another Dalton Castle thing.
Oh,
Um,
that Dalton Castle was a clever fella.
yes, apparently when Amanda Huber met him for the first time, he was the naked cowboy. I don't know if he was wrestling. I think he was managing, but he was the naked cowboy.
That's funny. I happened to be at his Ring of Honor debut. It was the 2015, I think. What that the not the race to the top, the tournament
Survival
for
of the
like
fittest.
incoming people. No, the
Oh,
one that they had
top
with like newer
top
people.
prospect.
Top prospect, I think. Yeah, he was in that tournament, and I saw his debut. And that it was funny because I had been that was in Nashville at the Asylum, that
Yep.
shithole, the Tennessee State Fairgrounds, and
Yeah.
so we had gone to Best in the World 2014, and the Tate twins had a dark match against War Machine. And then when we came back in January 2015 for the TV taping, that was where Alberto El Patron made his debut and threw Christopher Daniels into me and my wife still has not let me live it down. But anyway, yeah,
I
that
mean,
was when Dalton Castle debuted with the Tate twins as the boys.
I mean, of all the things asshole El Patron ever did, that was certainly one of them.
It was not
Um,
even probably wasn't the worst thing he did that day.
so there's a Madison method why I'm saying speaking of asshole El Patron and moving on to Samoa Joe, it's because they were on the same show. So I was at
Oh,
Supercard of Honor 9, which had Jay Lethal, not Jay Lethal, it was Jay Briscoe versus Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor title during that period after Joe left TNA, but before he signed with
okay.
NXT.
Okay,
Um,
that's funny. That's funny because I was at Supercard of Honor 8 and 10 and you were at 9.
and that was also a Best in the World 15. Um, And anyway, so I still remember I was my seat like it was all floor seats. It was actually a pretty shitty venue, but I was all the way in the back and throughout the night because one person can sneak up front
Yeah.
pretty easily. So by the end of the night, by the
Yeah.
main event, I was in the second row, and it was Jay Lethal versus Samoa Joe. Or I keep saying Jay Lethal, it was Jay
Jay
Briscoe
Briscoe.
versus Samoa
Yeah.
Joe for the Ring of Honor title. I think 'cause I was at Best in the World with Jay versus Jay, title versus title. And I
Oh
think Jay
yeah,
Lethal
yeah.
took on asshole El Patron. That's where the thought came in. Anyway, so uh, Samoa, I'm there standing in the second row because I'm standing in like the aisleway, and Samoa Joe whips Jay Briscoe into the barricades, and then he goes for the ole kick where he does the running around the ring and then crashing into Joe. I was so preoccupied with taking a good picture of Samoa Joe running to boot Jay Briscoe's head in that it did not occur to me that using physics, there's a chance they're going to crash into me. Uh, you could
Okay, I need to
see if
go
you
back and
watch.
rewatch that now.
Yeah, you
I
could
haven't
see
watched
it
that
like
since it happened. Yeah.
if you watch it like everybody else is moving out of the way and you just see one fat person standing in the middle of the camera and that's me.
I've
Oh
been the
Lord.
one fat person in front of the camera at many shows before.
Yeah. Although WWE has done an amazing job of avoiding putting me on camera. At WrestleMania 31, they had a camera guy going down the steps and filming all the fans on both sides. He got to where I was standing and turned it to where he was only filming the people on the left.
Uh, I'm sure that I've been on Drew. I remember it was like the night after Night of Champions 2015 when Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose did an angle and Rollins ran like into the crowd and up the steps to get away and he stopped like right next to where we were.
Nice. The only real time, well, actually two times WWE has shown me on camera. One time, it was Night of Champions 2012 in Boston. I had seats right across from the hard camera, so they couldn't avoid putting me on TV all night. And they tried, believe me, but they couldn't avoid it. And the other time was Survivor Series 2006, which is actually on the CM Punk DVD when he talks about how Triple H let him say, "Are you ready?" They kind of pan the crowd, and if you pause at just the right moment, look at the right blur in the right corner of the screen, you'll see me.
The best part about that was the Shawn Michaels super kicking Mike Knox, and then they tell him to pin him, and he does, and he goes, "Who was that? Oh, was he on the other? Was he part of the match? Oh, so we're doing good then."
I think we talked about that on the show. I mean, I talked about it recently. It may have been
Probably,
on
I love it.
it may,
Oh, it's one of my
it may have been
favorite
on
things.
it may have been on the Angry Marks podcast that I do. But
It
the
might have been.
reason they did that spot was because Shawn Michaels legitimately didn't watch ECW and had no idea who the fuck Mike Knox was and why he would be in a match with him. So
It's
they
Survivor Series.
Yes, it was. I did think it was weird when you hear that story. He doesn't watch ECW, but and had no idea who the fuck Mike Knox was. But he was one of the people who knew who CM Punk was. Maybe it's because he was always in the production meetings and hearing about everyone burying Punk. Because one of those stories that like nobody ever brings up is that apparently Shawn Michaels was in one of the production meetings where everyone was burying Punk, and he was basically like, "Well, has anybody tried talking to him about this?" And everyone
Do
just
you
kind of shut up and was
remember?
like, well, why don't you talk to him before you sit here and bury him all night long?
Do you remember when like Mike Knox and Rebel and Rob Terry were like circus
Yep.
freaks, and that was when
The
Crazy
the
Steve came in?
the menagerie. I like that you called him Crazy Steve.
By the way,
Um,
we have a run in. Astro Peach has jumped into my arms.
was
I love
Astro
so.
Peach the Crazy Steve of this show?
He is. He is the
Does
Crazy
that
Steve of the show. He's the Crazy
does that
Steve of my life.
does that make you the Mike Knox and me the Rebel, or does that make one of us the freak? I, I'm not
You
sure
can
how
be
this
Rebel
goes here
and the
now.
Freak. How's that? You can be
Okay,
Rebel and
great.
the Freak.
So anyway, TMZ has apparently done a Hulk Hogan documentary that, as we're recording this, it's on like right now on Fox, and it's going to be up on
Oh,
Hulu on Wednesday, August 13th. So after people listen
all
to this,
right.
and now I'm going to tell you some of the people that were interviewed for this documentary, and most of them you'll be like, okay, that makes sense. Vince McMahon is on this documentary. Jimmy Hart, Goldberg, Mark Henry, they're all on this documentary. And so is Jacob Fatu.
Well, to be fair, Jacob Fadu's pretty cool.
Yes, but it's like when if I'm going down like people in WWE to interview about a Hulk Hogan documentary, what the hell does Fatu have to do with anything?
At least it's not the fucking Miz again.
I mean, The Miz wasn't listed, but for all I know, he is.
Oh, he's probably on there.
Whatchamacallit, who was it that I guess no, it wasn't Joe Briscoe. Was it Steve Lombardi who was always on all the documentaries and his job was basically to kiss up and talk the company line?
Wasn't that his job for fucking ever?
I guess. I mean, he had to be good at something because, like, even if he got a job because he allegedly was sleeping with Pat Patterson, it's like that's only gonna keep you in fucking employed for so long, you know.
Well, keeps him fucking employed, all right.
I mean. like if that is the case, if Steve Lombardi had a job because he was fucking Pat Patterson, why wasn't Louis, Pat Patterson's husband, employed?
I think Louis. I think Louis did pretty well for himself. I don't remember
I,
exactly. He was a hairdresser, but I got the impression that Louis was not wanting financially very much.
oh, that's good then. Um, okay, I know again, like we're talking about modern wrestling here and there, and we try to usually avoid talking about modern wrestling, but Power Trips still has his panties in a bunch because AEW beat NXT so badly that they had to move NXT off Wednesdays, and it's been 6 years, and Power Trip still has his panties all wadded up. Have you heard that they're going to have a bonus premium live event head to head with All Out?
That's funny. Of course they are. So fucking.
And
Oh god.
and
He's.
and and apparently, not only are they doing that, because there's like it's so last minute. There's not even a name for the show at the moment. I don't even know if there's an arena booked for that night. Not that like it's 5 weeks away. They can it's not that difficult to book an arena and sell tickets, but still, the main event, the alleged main event that is coming out in uh on the news sites, they're holding off John Cena versus Brock Lesnar for that show.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably not gonna
Anyway, what
watch
were
it.
you going to say?
I have no idea. Probably doesn't matter.
I'm sure it does matter. My aunt would tell you that if you don't remember, it's probably a lie.
That's bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. It's just something old people say to feel smart.
Please don't say that to my aunt. If somehow she ever ends up on this show, don't say that to her.
I can't imagine why your aunt would be on our Smoky Mountain Wrestling rewatch along podcast.
Um, I don't think. Okay, that's not entirely true. We have rarely had wrestling related guests on this show. The vast majority of guests I've had on either of these shows have been non-wrestling related people.
Well, if you have your aunt on,
So
have her on the Cindy show.
I don't think I don't think either of you would I think you both would like her, but I don't think it would work for either of y'all. Or for her, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, probably just a good idea to not do it at all.
Yeah. Booking already is on the podcast. All right. So hey, what the hell? We might as well talk about some Smoky Mountain Wrestling. It
Yeah,
is the final official episode of Dutch Mantel.
I
At,
think I know why.
at least on yeah, at least on commentary. He does I know he does it down and dirty from Puerto Rico in the next couple of weeks, and maybe next week, maybe after that. But it's like this is it. He's DUNN done.
It's fun. I don't
So
actually know who replaces him, so that'll be exciting.
you don't?
No, it
You want
was
me to
Joel
tell you?
Watts. No, no, I want to be surprised.
It is not Joel Watts. And actually, to I'll just say this: it's nobody who was on this week's show.
Okay, well, that cuts out several people. It's not Bruiser Bedlam.
Yep. It is not Bruiser Bedlam. No, it is not Johnny Bedlam, but his friends call him Bruiser. Um,
I'd
anywho,
be
let's
friends
go
with
to the
him.
intro of the show. I think I wouldn't say no to him. He might blow up my house.
Yeah.
Um, let's go to the intro of the show with Bob and Dutch.
It's time again for Smoky Mountain Wrestling, professional wrestling, the way it used to be and the way you like it, fans. Hi again, I'm Bob Caudle along with Dr. Dirty Dutch Mantel, and we got a great hour in store for you this week. This is a very special hour of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Dutch.
Very special way on Down and Dirty with Dutch, my special guest, and he hasn't been a guest too often, Daryl Van Horn and Prince Karras. He will make his first appearance on Down and Dirty with Dutch, and I will draw a name out of the hat right now. All right, I have all the names in here. Mike Furnace has had it easy, and I'm going to draw a real good name, and he's going to lose today.
Who you got?
Larry Santo.
All right.
Larry Santo will face him today.
All right, Mike Furnace, Larry Santo. That's going to be our match for our TV championship. Also, we're going to see the Thrill Seekers in action right here today, and a new world premiere Thrill Seekers action video, and highlights from the Bluegrass Brawl during this hour, fans, including the cage match with a rock and roll in the bodies. Let's go to the ring.
Like that, unlike last week where they told us over and over again it was a pre-taped show, they're not saying that this week, even though this was taped the same damn week. Yeah, so Trae, tell me, because you told me that you knew why Dutch quit after just watching the intro of the show. Was it due to Glub's opponent?
Partly. The other part was that he has to talk to Daryl Van Horn and be in the ring with Prince Karras.
Well, that's an all-time classic, Down and Dirty, and they saved the all-time classic Down and Dirty for essentially the last one.
Oh, the one from Puerto Rico must be a Lulu. Is it Carlos Colon?
I honestly don't remember. I just know it happens.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, you can tell from the matches they've announced, there's no real main event. At least there's no main event to the live crowd. They are going to show a couple Bluegrass Brawl matches, which I'll be honest, I'm a little surprised they didn't just pad out the show and do a Bluegrass Brawl and review show. But I guess, they had some big holes in the Dungannon taping that they had to fill in. So, oh well.
I vehemently disagree that there was no main event of this show. There was an amazing main event of the show.
You mean the Rock and Roll Express versus the Heavenly Bodies?
No.
Huh. Okay. Well, speaking of matches that are not the Rock and Roll Express versus the Heavenly Bodies, the Thrill Seekers from Canada took on the Hornet and Mike Sampson. And we're at that period of time that I always rolled my eyes, even as a kid, where like anybody not from the United States primarily would be from the entire country. Lance and Chris are from Canada. Japanese wrestlers are from Japan. Wrestlers from San Francisco are from Japan too. But still, it's like there's many provinces in Canada, and I know technically they're not from the same one, but you could literally have said from Toronto, something. Why aren't the Hornet and Mike Sampson introduced as from the United States?
Because Americans are very xenophobic.
You've never said a more honest thing on this show ever. Just saying. So they showed a lot. We kept getting shots of the crowd, which is discerning because we only get shots of the crowd when there are fuck ups in the match. And we got like 3 or 4 shots of the crowd during this match.
Well,
so
yeah.
Who
was responsible for that, I wonder?
The people putting the show together at Tennessee Production Studios, whatever that place is called. During the match, we were joined on commentary by Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn. They are the team of Well Done. And they were there basically just to complain about the Thrill Seekers. And Lance pinned the Hornet after a Doomsday crossbody.
Yeah, the finish didn't look fucking stupid this week, so that was an upgrade.
And hey, for once, I guess they're still stealing people's finishers and doing them one up. We started with the Rock and Roll Express and moved on now to the Road Warriors.
Lance is still Lance is not comfortable being a television character at all. But in terms of just body control, he is already so goddamn smooth. He's approaching Satoru Sayama level.
Well, up next we had a Thrill Seekers video that I specifically remembered Jericho talking about in his book.
Oh yeah, this was fuck. Oh yeah.
Oh my god, this video. So the whole point of the Thrill Seekers is these 2 hot young baby faces full of piss and vinegar and fire, and They go out and they do all the cool shit. They go out and get the girls. They do all this shit. This video was the antithesis of all of that. First of all,
Boy, was
Chris,
it.
Chris had to go wake up Lance, who was sleeping at 10 o'clock at night. Now, I, for one,
It's a very
go ahead.
reasonable time to go to sleep.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
a very
yeah.
reasonable time to go to sleep.
Yeah. Trae and Arya both agree that 10 o'clock is a perfectly good time to be sleeping at. However, Trae and Arya are not being pushed as the hot young babyface tag team that does all the cool shit. Chris had to wake Lance up from a deep sleep at 10 o'clock, and then he had to watch Beavis and Butthead, which is how I knew it was 10 o'clock, by the way, because I couldn't really see the angle of the clock, and Beavis and Butthead aired at 10. Um, and so he watched Beavis and Butthead while Lance took a shower and got dressed. Um, and they went to a bar and ordered beers. Then they turned around and saw the camera, and so the cool young baby faces turned back around and got 2 glasses of milk instead. I don't know what bar they went to because I've never been to a bar that had milk that you could buy. I would probably order milk if I could at a bar.
No, fucking White Russians have milk in them. Other cocktails have milk in them.
I've never seen anyone order a White Russian at any bar I've gone to. So, okay, maybe the milk is hiding somewhere, but I don't
It's there.
foresee purchasing milk. Anyway, so then Chris tries to pick up a woman and she slaps him, which I imagine is not the first or the last time Chris Jericho's ever been slapped by a woman at the bar.
No, I don't expect it is.
And speaking of things not done for the first time, Chris then got thrown out of the bar, probably because he had too many milks. Those things go right to your head.
Yeah.
Then Lance, who again was asleep at 10 p.m. and got woken up to go out to the bar, he was tired. They're bar hopping, and Lance, who was passed out a few hours ago, is tired. So Chris, being a jerk, woke him up again, which I guess it makes a little bit of sense because they're at a bar, so please don't sleep at the bar. Anyway, the video ends at 6 in the morning, which was it was a funny concept. Lance goes into Chris's room and wakes Chris up at 6 a.m., which was funny in concept. The problem that I found with it, Lance went back to his hotel room, apparently had a full night's sleep and however many hours are left, and then got up and put on the same clothes he wore to go out to go wake up Chris.
Yeah, this was very.
This was very
think these
corny.
people were cool? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
If you did before this, you did not think that now.
I surely didn't.
Although I guess it did pay off the shoot interview from last week when Chris Jericho said, they sure do love that Beavis and Butthead.
Well, who doesn't love Beavis and Butthead?
I don't know. Anyway, the song, it was set to I'll Sleep When I'm Dead.
And that was the best part of the video by like a lot.
Yes. So we are magically whisked away to the Bluegrass Brawl where Jim Cornette and his mystery man took on Bullet Bob Armstrong. Did you notice how long it took for them to say who it was? Because Bob and Dutch didn't say it. It's possible that when the show got taped, they didn't know who it was going to be. And then Chip, because this is being taped allegedly for home video release, so why would Chip just randomly in the middle of a match talk about, oh, here's Jim Cornette's partner? But eventually they tell us that the big fat bald man beating up Bullet Bob was Bruiser Bedlam, who is Johnny K9 of WWF Jobber fame, and is somebody who's been arrested a lot, and Lance Storm cried on Dark Side of the Ring when talking about him.
He actually kind of got over with me here, I can't lie.
He was very different. I said he's fat and he's got a gut, but he's also he's not out of shape. He's fairly muscular.
He's thick.
he's thick. He looks like somebody, like if you didn't know who he was, and Johnny K9 is one of those people that I think most wrestling fans, even if you don't really know him, they know the name. He's somebody that if you saw in a bar, you're like, I'm not going to fuck with that guy, even if my plan's to fuck with the toughest guy here. I'll fuck with the second toughest guy here.
Yeah. Who's the toughest guy in Letterkenny?
Wayne. I mean, to me, it's Wayne. Do you think it's somebody else?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I appreciate about you, Trae.
Is that what you appreciate about me?
It is. So eventually, our good friend Chip Kessler did tell us who Bruiser Bedlam was. And by the way, this was when I was pointing out to you that the replacement host is not somebody who was on this show because it's not Chip Kessler yet.
Well, that's a shame, I guess.
Corny thwacked Bullet Bob with a racket and got no-sold. Corny accidentally powdered Bedlam. Bedlam recovered and won with a double sledge off the top rope. After the match, we had a 2-on-1 on Bullet Bob, and Bedlam attached the stomach claw to Bob Armstrong. And eventually, Tracy Smothers and Lance Storm kissed up to the commissioner by making the save.
I guess Jericho was in the crapper or something.
Jericho's actually in Mexico, I think, at this point. He's either in Mexico or Japan because Lance had to wrestle both well done in two singles matches.
I mean, they got crappers in Mexico and Japan, last I knew.
I mean, I've never been to either place, but I'm confident they do.
I have been to Mexico, and they definitely had bathrooms.
So, by the way, it's not that they kind of look similar, but just I kept writing Killer Khan instead of Bruiser Bedlam.
I see what you're getting at, but I don't know. They're wearing the same thing, but their bodies are very different. Bruiser Bedlam is a brick shit house.
Yes. So let's go to promos first by the loser and then by the winners of the match.
You got the job done. You tried Captain Redneck, you tried Terry Funk, you brought them all in and I laid them all down. But finally you got the man called Bruiser Bedlam. And I got to admit, I've wrestled a lot of men, but I've never had to wrestle a rock. This man is a rock. I'm going to have to stand way back and take another look at him. I took a beating. I got banged up and beat up, but I ain't going to give up. And if you think I'm going to roll over and play dead just because I got the devil beat out of me, think again, brother. There's always a way. Every man has a weakness. But looking at this man, I'm going to have to study him a long time to find that weakness, but I will find it. One thing about it, he's just bad skin deep, and I'm still bad to the bone.
The Bruiser's here. The Bruiser is here. And some people are going to be sitting up taking notice, like you, Bullet Bob Armstrong. How did I find Bruiser Bedlam? Well, it's really quite simple. Last August, I was in Detroit, Michigan for SummerSlam. And I was sitting in my hotel room. As a matter of fact, it was a suite. And I had my feet up and the phone rang. And I picked that telephone up and the voice at the other end said, "Hey, Jim Cornette, I want to become a wrestler. I'm big and bad and mean and tough, and I like to beat people up." Now, of course, I've heard that 25 million times, so I said, "Yeah, buddy, that's right." He said, No. If you don't think I got what it takes, then you just come on down to the lobby, take a look at me, and see what you think. So I said, okay, I need a kick, I need a laugh. So I get up and I walk down to that lobby, and when the elevator doors open, what is standing in front of me, big as a house, big as a gorilla, strong as an ox, and twice as smart, brother? Bruiser Bedlam. I went up to him and I said, "Brother, who are you and where have you been all my life?" He said, "My name's Johnny Bedlam, but my friends," and there's not too many of those, "they call me the Bruiser. And all I like to do is beat people up. I want to do it for a living because, you see, I'm tired of working for the unions. I'm tired of working for the bosses. I'm tired of taking a rap for other people. So I want to get into a profession where I can beat people up and do it legally." And I said, "Brother, have I got a job for you?" And I kept him back. I kept him in hiding because I wanted to wait for the right moment. And that right moment came when I needed to get rid of Bullet Bob Armstrong. I brought in the man. He's Johnny Bedlam. But his friends call him the Bruiser. Right, Bruiser?
Yeah, Jimmy, you know, I get paid to beat them, Jimmy. I beats them good. Now, there ain't no looking back. You're just a punk.
what's his name again? That old man?
Armstrong.
Bob Armstrong. What's he do? Jimmy dig ditches for a living? Where'd you find him? I'm the baddest.
Yeah.
I'll fight anybody. Anybody want to take me on? Come on. Doesn't that at a time? I take you. Oh.
You see that? Any truck drivers, construction workers, ditch diggers, you think you're tough? You think you're men? Well, right here's the guy that'll fight you. He don't just stick to wrestlers. You know what the word bedlam means? Chaos, pandemonium, a scene of wild, mad uproar. And that's exactly what this man causes every time he steps into the ring. Bedlam. Bruiser Bedlam. Remember the name, because Bob Armstrong will.
Trae,
Yes.
I know this is my gimmick, but I really like this, but I'm gonna nitpick it.
You nitpick something? Oh, well, I can't wait to hear
know,
this for the
right?
first time ever. Please proceed.
I know, right? So I like that Corny tried to come up with a story as to when he met Bruiser Bedlam, and it was in Detroit before SummerSlam. There's a problem with that. And it's not, oh, he's not really from Detroit. It doesn't matter whether or not he's really from Detroit. The problem was they were at the point where they were already like getting rid of Bullet Bob because they were doing the loser leaves town match with Bullet Bob versus, was it Murdoch or Cornette in September?
Okay. So
Anyway.
what you're implying is that if Bob Armstrong was no longer in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, then wrestling manager extraordinaire Jim Cornette would have no further need for a big bad tough guy like Bruiser Bedlam.
Well, if he's bringing him in purely to get rid of Bullet Bob Armstrong, like he said he is,
He wasn't.
then
He was
correct.
going to bring him in anyway. This was just he was waiting for the time, and he found it came time to use the tool that he was holding.
I get that, but I think they could have told the same story, but said when he was in Boston before Survivor Series. Because at
They
least then
could,
we're in
and they
the
could have
middle
said
of
if he was
the-
in Picklefucker Junction, Oklahoma, before a Mid South show in 1987. It doesn't fucking matter. Who cares?
Well, that would have been interesting, especially since Cornette didn't have a problem with Bullet Bob Armstrong in 1987.
Yeah, and I'm sure you would have complained about that too.
I would have more complained what the hell took him so long to bring him in.
He was in
That's
jail.
my only. See, there you go. That is a perfectly logical reason why he wouldn't have brought in Bruce Bedlam in 1987.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So Bullet Bob said he's never had to wrestle The Rock. Oh wait, he didn't say The Rock. He said A Rock. So I guess it means he never had to wrestle Don Morocco. Okay.
Oh, well, maybe they were never in the same territory at the same time.
My knowledge of territorial wrestling, especially pre-Arya being born, is not great. So I don't know.
I don't know that
Um,
Morocco ever worked Pensacola or Knoxville.
So Cornette, we told the story. He was in a suite at SummerSlam, and Johnny K9 said he wanted to be a wrestler. He saw a man as big as an oxen, twice as smart. And I got to say, if his friends call him Bruiser, why are we allowed to call him Bruiser? Shouldn't we call him
we're his
Johnny?
friends.
Because
we
You
should call him
remember when-
Mr. Bedlam.
I know this is before you started watching wrestling. I don't know if you ever went back and watched like 1993 WWF Superstars, 94. So when Bob Holly was debuting, his name wasn't Bob Holly. It was Thurman Sparky Plug. And
Yes.
I don't know why this sticks with me for this long, but his debut vignette was him saying, "Hi, I'm Thurman Plug. My friends call me Sparky. You can call me Sparky too." And so my brother and I would call him Sparky 2 for years. Because he said Sparky 2.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Anywho, Bruiser apparently told Jim he doesn't want to be in unions, which is a good thing. He got into the right business for that. He gets paid to beat them, and he beats them good. It's what I appreciate about him. Also, like I'll say, it was a good introductory promo, and to be honest, like you hear stories that like Jericho told about him in his book, and I know that what's his name? The kid that gets fired after Horner and Pam Lawson, that Cornette cleared the glass out of his car.
Casey O'Connor?
Yeah,
No.
Casey. Yeah, Casey O'Connor. I know Casey O'Connor posted something on the internet after Jericho's book came out, basically talking about all the crap Jericho said about Smoky Mountain Wrestling, or all the lies about Smoky Mountain Wrestling, I guess. But like his description of Johnny K9, spot on. Like, I don't think I'd ever heard him really cut a promo before, because who the hell ever put a microphone in Johnny K9's face? But that was totally what I pictured Johnny K9 to sound like.
He, you know, when I saw the match, I was like, kind of, what the fuck is this? But then when he talked, I was like, okay, this is an improved Killer Kyle.
All right, then we got a replay of Trae's mistress beating up Trae's girlfriend last week. And then, I don't know who the fuck asked for this, but we got a promo with Dirty White Girl and only Dirty White Girl. And that's going to segue to Tammy and Trae's mistress.
You know, Tammy Fitch, the last time I met up with you, you had to go out and hire some big moose who drinks beer and bras and God knows what else to jump me from behind. But you know what? It's going to be a little different this time, because I know she's coming and I know she's going to be there. And you know what? She is a whole lot bigger than me, but I promise you I will be face to face with her this time, and the outcome might be just a little different.
All right, fans, right now, Miss Tammy Fitch, Peggy Lee Leather. Well, you threw out the challenge, the Dirty White Girl accepted it, but it wasn't you.
You know, it's coming. It's coming. The ladies' showdown is coming up. Dirty White Girl wanted a match. She got her match. You know, I can't even understand why they're calling this a ladies' showdown, because the Dirty White Girl certainly isn't a lady, and Peggy Lee Leather's not really much of a lady either. I mean, she brawls, she cusses, and she even drinks beer. Wow. You know? But this is great. She's the greatest. Dirty White Girl, Peggy Lee Leather is gonna break you in half. Right, Peggy?
You know, Tammy, I'm glad you gave me a call. You know why? Because I like to hurt people. I make a career out of going all over the world wrestling and annihilating little people like this little dirty white girl. Who does she think she is to get into square circle? She don't know how to wrestle. She don't even know how to put on wrestling boots. I tell you what, when me and you get in that ring, I'm going to squat you like a little gnat. You're going down, and me and you're going to go out and drink some beer. Ha!
Oh, and we'll be back, fans, right after we take this time out.
I think it's safe to say who the dom and who the sub in their relationship is.
Now look, if nothing else, you got to say that's the best promo that the Dirty White Girl has done.
I'm more curious how many fucking takes it took, because it was done in the house show set, so it wasn't even in front of the people. So I'm thinking a girl had to take about 12 or 14 takes to get that 20 seconds.
That is how you get better.
There you go. Also cutting promos in the car on the way to shows. And also cutting promos just on anything. I once cut a promo on the rain to try to cut a better promo during that 5 seconds when I was trying to be in wrestling.
Did you ever see, there was an amazing segment on Being the Elite where Eddie Kingston cut a promo on a cookie?
I never watched Being the Elite, so no.
Okay, that was fantastic.
It sounded. Eddie Kingston is a tremendous promo.
Indeed.
So I want you to remember this for like 10 minutes from now, but Tammy is very happy.
Ooh.
She's very happy. Yes.
Good.
And then Peggy said she's going to go for a beer with Tammy after she beats White Girl. And Tammy was not disgusted by this idea that this woman was going to take her out for a beer.
I'd go out for a beer with Peggy Lee Leather.
Part of me, like, and I don't remember Peggy Lee Leather being in the territory, and I'm pretty sure she does not last long because, I mean, there's not a whole lot of room for a ladies division in the company.
I'm pretty sure this is a one and done.
Yeah. I'm like picturing like you build it up for a bit and then like, cause it's like a very obvious Peggy Lee Leather as a lesbian thing for Tammy, and Tammy is blissfully naive, and then it's like something happens where it's like Peggy takes Tammy, and like Tammy's got that look on her face like, oh fuck, what did I get myself into? And just tremendous.
That would have been a better storyline.
Yes. The problem is we then would have had a full women's division, and I don't know. 1994 women's wrestling is still the end of the Moolah era, so I'm not holding out high hopes for that.
Yeah.
So then we go to Down and Dirty with Dutch, which is a bit of a lengthy segment, and there is one of the let's just press play. Just going to press play and let you listen to this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Down and Dirty with Dutch. I am Dr. Dutch Mantel. I want to welcome you to my segment. My special guest right now, everybody give him a big round of applause, please. Daryl Van Horn and Prince Karras. Let me tell you right now, Mr. Horn, pleasure to have you on the program, and I know you have some words of wisdom to all the fans of Smoky Mountain.
That's right. As I told the world, Prince Karras is now finally getting his due. He's getting his Smoky Mountain Championship match with the Dirty White Boy. I've taken a lot of preparations to make sure that the Prince is comfortable. I told you that we brought in more Nubian virgins, manservants, and the rest to make sure that he's at his most comfortable for this match. In fact, I have even brought in some of Prince Karras' native soil so that he may be more at home, the soil that brings him power, the sand of the Nile. Now, Dirty White Boy, I've been talking for months about Prince Karras getting a title shot, and now you seem to be under the impression that you can do the impossible, what nobody else has been able to do, defeat Prince Karras. Well, you better guess again. He can't be hurt. When he gets done with you, you'll be turning tricks for some chicken hawk on the streets of San Francisco, and the Dirty White Girl will go back to her old job as the primary test subject for the Monistat Corporation. Now, for the non-believers, you understand, Dutch, there are those people who say that Prince Karras is not who I say he is. Karras, usta la meya chakia no siatoata, usta la meya salatayasa. Now, I would like for you people to watch this. You think you can hurt this man? I'm proving a point, Dutch. I am proving a point. Watch this! You think you can hurt this Dirty White Boy? You stupid cracker! You think you can hurt Prince Karras? Guess again, you clown! Not a chance in hell!
Shut up! Who do you honestly think that you're trying to fool around here? You trying to get people to believe that this big piece of toilet paper is 3,000 years old? Well, I don't buy it. Now, granted, he's a big man. He looks like he stands about 6'9", about 350 pounds. But I specialize in big men, so I'm not worried about him. And as far as you're concerned, I dare you. No, I take that back. I double dog dare you to get a hat instead of that flower pot you got on your head. Hey, listen, shut up. Let me tell you something. A, you don't put your hands on me. And B, I'm going to tell you something that everybody around here has been wanting to tell you for a long time, but couldn't. Shut up! Hey!
Well, Karras went after him, but he missed him, Dutch.
Take it, Bob. I'm out of here.
The Dirty White Boy and Prince Karras go at it, and Karras goes down from a big right hand, and then you saw Daryl Van Horn throw some of that sand or whatever it was, right into the face and the eyes of the Dirty White Boy. And now there's that arm again. There's something about that arm. What's with that? The big guy twists or turns that arm, Dutch, and then he just clobbers an opponent with it. It's got to be something in that arm, wrapped up in that arm. 6'9", 350 pounds, and he's going at the Dirty White Boy.
Well, I had sense enough to get out of there, Bob. I don't want that Prince Karras is a huge man when you're standing right. He's locked the shit of the monkey on him now, and look at the face of the White Boy. It's turning red.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
There's
one.
some
And here,
people-
who is this?
Some reinforcements
Tracy
coming.
Smothers comes in.
Tracy Smothers knocked off. Little referee Mark Curtis in the ring knocked
He's
off.
extremely powerful, is this big whatever it is.
Trying to pull
Oh,
it.
wait a minute. Good heavens, we got a ring full now. We got Tim Horner in. Daryl Van Horn, he exits in a hurry. And now, hey, there goes Prince Karras.
Okay.
All right. Was that like the best or the worst Down and Dirty segment ever? It was definitely not your weekly interview with either Jim Cornette, Bob Armstrong, or Tammy Fitch.
It's
Or
like,
Dirty White
okay, I have to defend this a little bit because Prince Karras fucking sucks on like almost every level, but you got the Dirty White Boy who's the champion, who's coming out and just treating this with the fucking disdain and mockery. Like, you could tell, you could see how Cornette felt about this whole thing. Because it's like the Dirty White Boy is mocking him, and then the Dirty White Boy was kicking his ass until Daryl Van Horn threw powder in his face, and then they put him down. And Prince Karras does the Shinin Nomaki better than Hercules Hernandez.
Well, he's had 3,000 years to practice. Hercules only
You
had
know
like
what?
20.
I bet that Prince Karras learned it from Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez after he got back from Japan.
I'm sure of that. Now, you are not talking about the best part of this. Well, one of the best parts. How do you pick what the best part of this is? Was it White Boy knocking off Daryl Van Horn's fez? Was it Dutch calling him Mr. Horn? Which implies what? His middle name is Van? But first, Daryl drops some sand on the mat. And I'm just like, man, I bet Glub and the ring crew is appreciating that. And then, here on this fine Southern pro wrestling show, professional wrestling the way it used to be and the way you like it, which is them saying we don't do corny gimmicks, we don't do stupid shit, we are serious pro wrestling. Daryl Van Horn pulled out a pair of scissors and cut off Prince Karras' thumb.
So stupid.
That was so tremendous. And you know what this means? Like Prince Karras is still going to be on TV for a few more weeks. We have to look to see if like they have him keep using the prosthetic so he doesn't have a thumb.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because spoiler, they didn't really cut the man's thumb off. I know we're all shocked about that, but
Really?
And typically when you cut off somebody's thumb, sand doesn't pour out.
Are you sure about that?
Pretty sure. I wrote, he put on the Shininomaki, oh my god, it's Hercules. Also, like, honestly, the video of this segment is 10,000 times better than just the audio. Because when Prince Karras goes after White Boy, he still moves like a mummy in the like glitchy move towards White Boy, and all White Boy kind of does is just steps a little bit out of the way. And Prince Karras cannot stop himself. He is committed to moving in the direction of where White Boy used to be, and he has to complete the step forward.
Well, look, when you get a little older, look, I'm only in my late 30s, and I have a little more trouble getting around than I used to. So imagine when you're 3,000.
By the way, White Boy breaking kayfabe, saying Karras isn't really 3,000 years old. What the fuck, dude?
That's not breaking kayfabe, though. That's not breaking kayfabe.
No, because I mean, to be fair, Coddle and Les called him, said that it was bullshit. He was 3,000 years old on his debut. But then,
yeah,
you know what the most worrisome part of this whole angle was?
What was that?
First it was, well, I guess you could say Bob thinking that Bobby Blaze and Tracy Smothers were the same person, which is not the first time that he's done that too. But the worst part was Thunder rolls and the lightning strikes. Horner was out there.
I didn't even notice.
They said it. Waddle said,
and
there's Tim Horner.
Do you think I have nothing better to do than listen to these people when the show is happening?
Yes. Horner's out there. The best part is it's not, oh my God, it's Tim Horner. We remember when Prince Karis debuted, he broke the neck or whatever it ended up being of Tim Horner. Horner's been out since November. He had to like almost retire. Like, because remember they made a big deal. Like he's doing the training school now because he can't wrestle anymore. And so you think of like, okay, oh my God, it's Tim Horner. Like, what does this mean? But it's like, oh, and Tim Horner's making the save.
There you go.
And can you imagine if you're Rick Rubin? There's two things in this show that you have an opinion about. You hate Tim Horner and you love the wrestling mummy. Well, Tim Horner backed down the wrestling mummy.
Wait, what? I love the wrestling mummy? What?
Are you Rick Rubin?
Oh. I misunderstood.
I said there's two things on this show that Rick Rubin believes in. I hate Tim Horner and I love the wrestling mummy. And on this show, Tim Horner backed down the wrestling mummy.
Okay, I'm sorry. I latched in on hates Tim Horner.
Oh God. I'm almost sad that we are at the end of Prince Karis. He does not last much longer. Emphasis on almost sad. All right. Then we got the worst match of all time this week. It's Glub, the TV champion, versus El Hijo del Santo. And I get they're trying to tell the story that by sheer dumb luck, Glub keeps getting all the jobbers in the Beat the Champ. This story has run its course. Glub is now on his third title defense, and I guess the good news is he learned the hip toss this week in Tim Horner's school. But then the finish, and we've talked about he does kind of a weird sideways football tackle that like is both realistic for football but not realistic for pro wrestling because like he comes at a weird angle so everyone kind of falls weird. Well, someone must have told him that he's not hitting them in a way that gives them a safe place to fall down. Because this time he was so far off to the right that he did the football tackle to Larry Santo's arm. And that was the finish. Larry Santo went down to the football tackle to the arm.
So at which point in this SMW run does Lance Storm steal Larry Santo's tights?
I did not look at Larry Santo's tights.
They were the red and white. They looked like Lance would have worn them.
Oh my God, they are, yeah. But didn't they? But they had red and white tights on like their debut, didn't they? The
Probably, yeah. Probably, yeah.
At least let's hope once Glub leaves the territory that we don't see Lance in Glub's tights. But I forget, how did we come up with Glub as a nickname, by the way?
That's the most interesting thing about Glub.
Is that we came up with a nickname and we don't even know how it came up with it.
Oh, because he doesn't deserve to be named Mike or Furnace, so he's just Glub now.
But where did Glub come from? Like that's.
It was just a sound that I made, and it was appropriate, and you popped for it. So after the races, it was Glub.
And this was before everything happened with you, or like I actually made a note. Mike Furnace is Glub.
Oh, so you stopped making notes about me? That's awesome.
I stopped making notes about you?
You said before I was whatever, and I stopped. You were making notes about me still.
I made a note that Mike Furnace is Glub.
Oh, yeah, okay. What does that have to do with me?
Hey, because
it's your job to take notes on stuff. Oh yeah, I come up with lots of great stuff. See, you see, Arya, when I tell you I come up with stuff, you should listen.
Hotel accommodations for Smoky Mountain Wrestling this week are provided by the Holiday Inn Kingsport. Try their all-you-can-eat lunch buffet Monday through Friday for $3.95, the Friday fish fry from 5 to 10, or the Sunday brunch buffet from 11:30 to 2 with an array of fine foods. If you're hungry on Saturday, fuck you. That's the Holiday Inn
Arya,
Kingsport.
I have some heartbreaking news. The
Holiday
Holiday
Inn
Inn
Kingsport.
Kingsport is no longer open. That location is now a Super 8.
Super 8's a good hotel chain.
Or
Oh, Lord. By the way, did you see they did a the world's longest wrestling match for Mystery Wrestling yesterday in a fundraiser?
no, no. What did they
Uh,
do?
it was Evil Uno's company, and they did a
Yes.
16-person Cibernetico elimination tag match, which raised over $38,000 for charity, which went 21 hours, 49 minutes, and 12 seconds. However, because apparently Evil Uno called up the Guinness Book of World Records people because they were purposely trying to beat the record for the world's longest match, but apparently it cost $16,000 to get the Guinness World Record people to come out and observe your world record.
That's kind of bullshit.
Yes, Stu Grayson, by the way, was the last man standing, but
Oh,
the the
tremendous.
rest of the people are people that most people have never heard of. However, apparently, and this will pop like 4 people, Jan Itor was in this match. So I guess he gave up his job as with Sacred Heart to become a pro wrestler.
How
Um,
about that?
yeah, how about that? Um, Anywho, back to Glub. Did you even notice that his tackle was to the right arm?
I
I guess we.
noticed that. I noticed it didn't look quite as bad this week.
I like that you said it didn't look quite as bad, and I'm like, he hit him in the arm.
But at least he fucking hit where he was aiming this time.
Are you sure?
It looked like it. If he didn't,
I
he
would,
didn't.
I
He
would hope
got
he
lucky, but
didn't.
it looked. He looked like he was in more control of his body, and that is an improvement. No, he should not be wrestling on television, but that was an improvement.
I don't know how him hitting Larry Santo in the arm as the finish is an improvement.
He hit him. That is the improvement.
Yes, but he was hitting the people the last 2 weeks too. It was just in a wonky.
If you say so.
Anyway, what do you think the people on Saturday did at the Holiday Inn Kingsport when they wanted dinner? Because there was no buffet, there's no Friday fish fry, there was just nothing.
I don't know. Probably
Okay.
everything.
Remember 10 minutes ago when Tammy was really, 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 really happy, and then Hercules and then Prince Karis did the Shinnomaki. This was the culmination of me thinking that they prepared for this week's Smoky Mountain show by watching this week's Mid-South show, because in the same way that Jim Cornette was really happy in one segment and then really mad 10 minutes later, Tammy Fitch went from being really happy and for no particular reason, really mad. Let's go to the intro of the interview, which normally I would skip, but Tammy popped me. So I had to type this out.
All right, fans, with us right now, primetime Brian Lee, Chris Candido, and Miss Tammy Fitch.
You know, I'm really, really disgusted. I cannot believe with that little Q-tip Ricky Morton did to me. He kissed me. I couldn't believe it. He grossed me out. I could get cooties or something. But you know, we proved who the best team really is. Let's show that tape right now.
That Q-tip, Ricky Morton.
Okay, good enough. Q-tip.
And then I guess like she adds on to it later, but she's like, I could have gotten cooties from him, which I mean, she's pretty close to being a teenage girl at this point, so sure. She could get cooties from Ricky Morton.
Yeah.
But then we come back. Now, I'm going to make a comparison that you have never heard in your life. When we come back from this promo, I know, right? I am going to compare Tammy Fitch, to Colonel De Beers.
Okay, I can't wait for this.
Yes. Until we get to, before we do that, let's go to the second half of this interview. Oh, by the way, they showed last week what happened with Candido and Brian Lee versus the Rock and Rolls. So now let's go back to the interview.
See, we showed who the best team is. The best team is Chris Candido and Primetime Brian Lee. They're my boys. They are the best team. They beat up the Rock and Roll Express. Everybody saw it. But you know, I'm going to go file sexual assault charges because Ricky Morton took me and he forcibly kissed me and I can get like cooties or AIDS or some other disease like that. Chris, why did he do that to me?
Let me tell you something. The reason Ricky Morton did that, he couldn't even get a date on a tombstone. Me and Brian Lee proved who the greatest tag team in professional wrestling was when we put the Rock and Roll down 1, 2, 3. And Brian, I'm going to tell you in front of everybody, you are the reason why.
Well, Chris, I'm not one to blow my own horn, but thanks for telling me anyway. I'll tell you what, Chris couldn't have said it better. I am the man of the team. I am the big dog. You see that? Chris, look at these guns. Look at these guns. I'm the man. I'm the general. On every team, there's got to be a leader, and I'm the leader. Chris, you know you're the newcomer to the team. We're going to walk that aisle. I'll tell you what, Rock and Roll Express, anytime you want to come down, strut and stroll as you say it, come on down that aisle, get your arms paired 1, 2, 3 by Mr. Candido, Mr. Lee, and the brains behind it all, Miss Tammy Fitch.
That's right, Bob Cuttle, and every time we come out here, I want you to now address us as Mr. Lee, Mr. Candido, and Ms. Fitch, because I don't care, 5 times World Tag Team Champions,
who cares?
1,000,000 times Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions. We are the new legends of professional wrestling, Brian Lee, Chris Candido, and Tammy Fitch.
All right, fans, we're going to be back right after we take this time out.
Everyone is so formal on this show. Like, we have the team of Well Done comes out. They're like Mr. Well and Mr. Dunn. And now we have this group that's Miss Fitch, Mr. Lee, Mr. Candido. All it's missing is Mr. Kennedy.
Very, very, very polite, respectable people.
Yes. Okay. So, Tammy Fitch says that she could have gotten AIDS when Ricky Morton kissed her. So, remember the oh-so-famous UWF Beach Brawl pay-per-view?
I have never seen it, but have heard the legends.
Okay. It's both better than you think it is and also just as bad as you think it is. Anywho, on the show was a strap match between Colonel De Beers and a babyface Paul Orndorff. And then, so they have their match. I think Orndorff wins. Like, it went like 3 minutes. A couple of weeks later on the UWF TV show, by the way, it was a winner leaves town match. Orndorff never came back. So a few weeks later on the UWF TV show, Colonel De Beers is being interviewed, and he talked about what a magnanimous gesture he did on the pay-per-view because he didn't put forth his best effort against Paul Orndorff because Paul Orndorff has AIDS, and if he would have made Orndorff bleed, he would have gotten his blood all over the fans at ringside.
Well, that's just a very, very not okay thing to say about someone.
Oh, it really isn't. But, ladies and gentlemen, the only time anyone has ever compared Colonel De Beers to Tammy Fitch.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what we do here.
Hey, who is the city of Chicago's favorite AWA mid-carder? De Beers.
There we go, yeah.
All right, so from here, we go to the Bluegrass Brawl. The Heavenly Bodies versus the Rock and Roll Express for the Smoky Mountain Tag Team titles. Losers leave town inside of the chicken wire. And, you know, that fence may look like a chicken wire, but it's not a chicken wire. The heat for this was out of this fucking world. This crowd was losing their shit for this match.
What they showed of this was fucking awesome. I wish we could have seen all of it.
Yep. According to Dave, it was a 4.5-star match.
Was Dave there?
And what was that?
Was Dave there?
I don't think so. I think he was just saying what other people reported.
Well, who said it was a 4.5-star match then?
Yeah. Well, I had to laugh because they're getting the heat on Morton. Shocking, I know. And Gibson gets in the ring and gives his partner a hip toss to bring him closer to the corner so he could tag out. And despite the preposterosity of that, the crowd still popped for it, which, great. Jimmy Del Rey heaved Mark Curtis into the cage wall. I personally can't believe that a good, clean Christian athlete like Jimmy Del Rey would do such a thing. Brian Keys ran in as the backup referee. And do you know who Brian Keys is?
I have heard the name, but no.
He's the fucking Hornet.
Okay, yeah. I thought, okay, so Brian Logan, Brian Keys, the Hornet, all the same guy?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I had to laugh because, like, Chip is like, he's not even sure what to say. He's like, Brian Keys is running in. Let's see here. He ran in to take over as a referee. Del Rey almost won first with the poon salt and then with the tennis racket shot. But Mark Curtis stopped Brian from counting after the tennis racket shot. Again, what is with all the rules being enforced in these no disqualification matches? You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Everything was not airtight. And then Morton pinned Del Rey with what was essentially a hurricanrana to win the belts and to send the Heavenly Bodies packing. This was a hell of a fucking match. And actually, much like the Von Erichs versus Freebirds match we saw on Tuesday, we've seen these two teams wrestle so many times that it's almost like, like, we know it's the end of the feud, so we're just kind of like, okay, let's get through this and go home. But, like, they had one hell of a fucking match.
They sure did. They sure did. This was awesome. Yeah, wish I could have seen the whole match. That was the only problem. I liked it so much I wanted more of it.
There's going to be so much fan cam footage of Smoky Mountain once we get our time machine working. It's not even funny. Like, 2025 technology on these 1994 house shows.
Yeah. That's hey, look, our fucking phones now are better than like the cameras that WWE had.
I had to laugh because, like, I know they're in Johnson City and it's usually Knoxville when they turn all the lights down, but all the lights were on for this match so you could see that there were actually people in the crowd. Which I know Cornette's a big Watts disciple, and that's one I just don't get. Why are they so insistent on not being able to see the people in the crowd?
That was just the old school mentality that you focus on the wrestling and not the crowd, and the lighting up for real big was a WWF thing.
And you notice that nobody was in the front row playing on their cell phones at the time.
Nobody in 1994 had a cell phone?
No, at least not in the front row or a couple rows. Or if they did have a cell phone, they weren't playing on it the whole time. I forget where I was the other day. Oh yeah, I was at Silent Book Club, and like I had my Kindle out on my tablet, and a few other people had similar electronic devices in addition to the book. And this fucking bitch comes in, sees us all, and I get, she may not know we're having Silent Book Club, but she comes in, we're all sitting there quietly, and she's like, oh, everybody's on their fucking phone. You're not talking to anybody. It's like, number one, bitch, mind your own fucking business. It's like, number one, go eat your fucking avocado toast so I can't afford to buy a house. All right. So I'm not going to play it straight through because there's two very different interviews that we're about to listen to that are going to end the show. First, let's go to the Rock and Roll Express celebrating backstage with some notable friends Let's go to that here.
Gentlemen, I just want to take this time as Commissioner of Smoky Mountain Wrestling to congratulate you. That was one of the hardest fought matches I've ever seen in my 30 years.
Thanks, Bob.
I'm glad to have you representing Smoky Mountain Wrestling again as tag team champions.
Oh, yes.
All right, thank you, Bob. But, I want to say, throughout my whole career, I've never been in a match as tough and as brutal as it was against Jimmy Cornette's Heavenly Bodies. But most of all, Bob, I'd like to thank you. And I'd like to thank all you guys, and most of all, I'd like to thank all the fans for never giving up on the Rock and Roll Express and standing behind us each and every night, every town that we went to, giving us the support that we needed to get this match accomplished, Bob. So let me tell you, I want to thank everybody, and we love you with everything that we have in our hearts, because now we are the true Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions.
That's exactly right,
But you know, Bob, it never stops. There's a new tag team here that's on the uproar. That's Brian Lee and Chris Candido. You know they won't be coming after these belts. But, we are true champions. These belts right here do not sit up on the shelf, collect dust. We will defend them every night right here at Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And we want to thank each and every one of you. And God bless you. And we love you all. Thank you.
Okay. So that was a good promo. But, Trae, I must ask you a question. How often has biased Bob Armstrong ever congratulated the heels on winning a match?
The favoritism in this company is disgusting.
Yeah, it's insane. And we're going to get to it in a minute, but, for all the crap we got for Cornette trying to pad the board of directors with one of his guys, we'll talk about the board of directors here in a second and padding it with their guys. By the way, Lance Storm, who, thanks to the Rock and Roll Express winning this match, Lance Storm just lost a tag team title match. But he's there celebrating with the Rock and Rolls because that's what a good babyface does.
Well, he didn't want to get a title shot that way. They said that in their promo last week or whenever it was.
But they would have gotten a title shot. That's like, But
but
whether or not
they didn't want it that way. What are you complaining about?
Whether or not they thought they earned it or deserved it or whatever at this point. If you just look at it that way, Lance is celebrating the fact that now he doesn't have to be the babyface turning down a title match.
I don't think Lance is looking at it that way, though.
Anyway, Bobby Blaze and Tracy Smothers, who are two different people, despite what Bob Caudle might think, they were also there congratulating the new champs. And it's the only time we've seen Tracy on the show this week, even though apparently him and Candido had a hell of a ladder match on the show. I don't know whose $2,500 Tracy won, but Tracy won the $2,500.
Maybe we'll see that next week.
Spoiler alert, in case we do.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So then we get a segment. And this is the show closing segment. It is Brian Matthews. It's Monday morning after the Bluegrass Brawl. Brian Matthews is outside of a room where the Smoky Mountain Board of Directors are meeting with Jim Cornette and the Heavenly Bodies, who are protesting the decision at the Bluegrass Brawl. And we are going to hear the decision and then the reaction of Cornette and the Heavenly Bodies. And this is one for the history banks. Let's go to this right now.
Gee, I wonder what's taking them so long, Kevin. They've been in here for a good little while. I don't... Oh, what?
Meeting's breaking up in Cornette. It's not happening.
Hi, fans. I'm Brian Matthews on assignment for Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Today is Monday, April the 4th, and inside this door, the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Board of Directors has had an emergency meeting called. Jim Cornette and the Heavenly Bodies are in the room with the Board of Directors, pleading their case in the outcome of the loser leaves Smoky Mountain Wrestling match that took place on April 1st, just a few days ago, at the Bluegrass Brawl 2 in Pikeville, Kentucky. Now, we should be finding out shortly, if the meeting is breaking up, we should be finding out shortly about the outcome and see what's happened with the Heavenly Bodies in pleading their case. And Mr. Cornette, apparently...
Well, I gotta look at you everywhere I go.
Apparently, you're not very pleased with this outcome.
God, I can't believe this. Bob Armstrong is like a thorn in our side,
Oh, God, him and the board of directors, Tom, God almighty.
Listen, it's just like the old saying goes. When you're the leaders of the pack and you think you got that rat race licked, they just go out and find bigger and faster rats. And if you want to talk about the biggest rats in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, let's talk about the Rock and Roll Express and Bob Armstrong. I have been ripped off, Jimmy Del Rey has been ripped off, and Jim Cornette has been ripped off. The heavenly bodies can no longer stay in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And this is not right. It's a conspiracy of the first degree.
Mr. Cornette, your thoughts on the outcome?
Just like I thought it would be. It's a waste of time to come over here because I know what Bob Armstrong's got on his mind. I know what the board of directors, they've waited for this chance. They've waited for it for a long time, and now they've got it. The decision will stand, the match will stand, the stipulation will stand, the bodies are out. Everybody's always come up to me asking, how come you hate the rock and roll? How come you're so obsessed with the Rock and Roll Express? Well, it's real easy. Put yourself in my place. For 10 long years, all across the country, in every high school gym, every major sports arena, every wrestling promotion, I've done everything I could do to send my team after them to get them out of professional wrestling. Because I hate their stinking guts. Why? Why do I hate their guts? Because I've devoted my life to professional wrestling. Because I wanted to be the best. I wanted to manage the best. And every team that I've managed has been the best. Dennis Condrey and Bob Eaton and Stan Lane and Tom Pritchard and Jimmy Del Rey. They've been the best. They've been without parallel. Nobody could touch them. Nobody could stop them. Nobody except the Rock and Roll Express. Every time that I got a team that was ready to take the top, the Rock and Roll's there to take the title, to take the glory, to take the attention, to make sure that all the fans could come up to me and say, you know, your guys are pretty good, but the Rock and Roll are better. And I've done the most horrible things that I could think of to do to another human being, to Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, to try to run them out of wrestling. It didn't work. Of course, by the same token, they've had to endure those horrible things, and they never got that last measure of revenge until now. The decision stands. The bodies are finished in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. But I want you to know, this ain't the only place that they can wrestle. This ain't the only place they do wrestle. But this is the place that they wanted to wrestle. Because they dominated Smoky Mountain Wrestling. They established Smoky Mountain Wrestling. If it wasn't for the heavenly bodies, there wouldn't be a Smoky Mountain Wrestling today.
That's right.
And Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, you've ruined all that. And you got your final revenge, and I'll give it to you. You did what you said you were going to do. After 10 years, man, the thing between me and you is over. And you got what you wanted. But I'm going to say this to you. I swear, I raise my right hand to God, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. There will be another day, somehow, sometime, somewhere. I don't know when. But there'll be another day between me and you, and between you and the heavenly bodies. But for now, you've seen the last of Tom Pritchard, and you've seen the last of Jimmy Del Rey, and I'm thinking seriously about going with them.
All right. So sadly, I can't play the rest of the song here, but this an already great promo goes from great to legend. Wait for it, dairy. So after that promo, a sad country song is playing, and we slowly see the heavenly bodies put their jackets on, grab their luggage. They each give Jim Cornette a big hug, and then they leave. Like,
sorry, did you say a sad country song?
Yes, I said a sad country song.
The famous final scene by Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, the same band that does old time rock and roll, the theme song of the Rock and Roll Express, was a sad country song.
To me, yes, it was a sad country song.
Huh, you're not very good at music.
Well, let our listener complain about that. Anyway.
They will.
So, just to remind everybody who the board of directors are. The board of directors is the commissioner of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Sandy Scott, and Mark Curtis. And they make the decisions for Smoky Mountain Wrestling. So in order for Jim Cornette to keep his guys to stay, he has to convince both Sandy Scott and Mark Curtis. Because, you know, Bullet Bob the biased motherfucker that he is, would not have voted for Jim Cornette.
And these people, it's just the lack of integrity in the Smoky Mountain Wrestling structure is appalling.
That's probably the real reason why this company goes out of business.
Oh, definitely.
And I think maybe the reason Dutch left, because I mean, everyone is so horribly and obviously biased. Why should he stick around?
Exactly, I wouldn't have.
Yeah. And I did think it was funny that the board of directors apparently meets at an elementary school. Yeah.
Well, they do all the
maybe a
TV
middle
tapings
school.
at a high school.
Oh, this week is at an elementary school.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. And I'd say it may have been taped during the same taping, but the Heavenly Bodies weren't there. As we noted, they were in Denver losing to the Bushwhackers. Which, if there's ever like a story of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, their last TV taping, they're not even on, there. They're losing to the opening card comedy gimmick in the WWF. Now I'll say, I guarantee they made more money losing to the Bushwhackers than they would have going to that TV taping in Dungannon.
I am sure of that.
So here's the thing, though. Now, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, we've talked about, they suck at, paying off stipulations. And this is pretty much as close as we're ever going to get to them paying off a stipulation. And I'm not even including when they come back next year because, it's a special circumstance. Trae, this is not the last time in 1994 that we are going to watch the Heavenly Bodies wrestle the Rock and Roll Express on Smoky Mountain Television. Just letting you know. And I mean, we'll get to it when it happens. But it's like, still, it's like, if I was to ask Jim Cornette a question, it would be that, do you think part of why Smoky Mountain failed was because you kept going back on stipulations? Like, you'd pop a crowd for a big stipulation match and then ignore the stipulation. Or you'd cute your way out of it, like the Bullet Bob thing when the Bullet lost his mask. Like, to me, there's only
I
so
bet
many
he does in retrospect. Yeah.
Yeah. There's only so many times you can fuck over the crowd like that. And there's actually a really big one next year that they really fuck over the fans. And Cornette has said it's like one of the biggest mistakes he's ever made as a booker. So that they walked out, the elementary school here to end the show. And I know it wasn't the same building. It's not even the same Heavenly Bodies, but in a lot of ways it reminded me of that kick-ass angle they did in June of '92 with the Fantastics, where they fought. It was a single camera shot. They fought all through the back of a building, out the front or out the back door, and that was when Bobby Fulton broke Cornette's car window with a bat or a pipe or whatever.
Yeah. By the way, Tom, not only the very nice teal Ribera Steakhouse jacket, but the Terry Funk You shirt that he had on in white. I have the same shirt in black.
I honestly never knew when that started. I thought that wasn't really a thing until ECW, but I guess technically we're in the ECW era now, but this isn't what I'm thinking of. But it's like I guess obviously they were already doing Funk You shirts.
Well, apparently, yeah. I haven't heard it mentioned on ECW at all.
Yeah. By the way, 115 down, 85 to go. And we're gonna need a new heel tag team soon because unless I'm forgetting somebody, we're down to one. I guess no, we are down to two. Never mind. Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn, they're the team of Well Done. They're in the territory, as is Primetime Brian Lee and Chris Candido. Oh God, no! Like, I will put you over my knee.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Anyway, what else is happening in the world of wrestling? So, as we always say, I can tell you April 9th, 1994 until I'm blue in the face, but this gives you some context. So you go, oh, is that what's happening? And I say, yes, that's what's happening. So the big news is that the state of New York has dropped the illegal distribution of steroids charge against Vince McMahon and is concentrating solely on the conspiracy to distribute charge, figuring that one would be easier to prove. And Vince and co. are crowing like it's proof that the state has no case against him.
Well, that's good news.
But yes, and that case is coming up for trial very soon. That should be interesting. I wonder if Vince is going to go to jail.
Probably never.
I do think it's kind of funny that he was going to have Jerry Jarrett take over the territory, or not take over the territory, take over the company, at least as a creative standpoint, if he would have gone to jail. How do you think the WWF would have changed if Vince goes to jail and Jerry Jarrett's in charge of creative for 3 or 4 years?
He would have been in charge of creative for 6 months before he handed it off for Jerry Lawler and went on vacation.
Pop. I'll throw this out there. Steve Austin doesn't go to the WWF.
You're probably almost certainly right about that.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny because, what does he end up doing? Because, I don't foresee him being in ECW long term, which I guess he could have been. Maybe because New Japan was too tied up with WCW at this point. So maybe he could have gone to All Japan.
He said
in Misawa.
He said on the podcast that when he got cut from WCW that his plan was to get into either New Japan or All Japan. He didn't think that there would be any interest from the WWF, but boy, was there.
Well, I don't know. I think was it a JR hire?
Almost certainly.
And it's funny that JR gave us Steve Austin, The Rock, and Mick Foley in a 3-month period of time. He signed those 3 people.
Yeah.
But by the way, there's a TV taping, and I think it's Corpus Christi in March of '96. On that show are the first dark matches for Mankind, the show where the ringmaster becomes Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it is the pro wrestling debut of Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, was that May 96?
Yes. March 96.
Oh, March 96. Yeah. Well, still. Wow, he was back on TV in 8 months.
Oh, yeah. I'll be honest, it's still not the wackiest wrestling weekend, in my opinion. It's still the first, I guess the second weekend of January in 2001, because it was the same day, the same Friday, and it was ECW had their last show. It was WCW got sold to Fusion Media Ventures, and the UFC got sold to the Lorenzo and Frank Fertitta on the same fucking day. Those 3 things all happened.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And one of those turned out to be good for the world, kind of. So, by the way, elsewhere and back in 1994. In case you're wondering what is taking WCW so long to sign Hulk Hogan, because Ted Turner has apparently given the A-OK on the money, and they're going through the nits that still need to be picked. But apparently in Hulk Hogan's last WWF contract, the WWF had a clause in there that they have a 21-day first right to match any offer made by another North American-based pro wrestling company. So once WCW officially makes their offer sheet to Hogan, he then legally has to take it to Vince to see if Vince will match it. And that's partially why, to help some of you people who are like, oh, why did WCW give Hulk every fucking thing in the world? That's part of the reason, because they felt they had to put in a bid that was so absurd that Vince would not match it. And as we'll see, Vince did not match it.
He sure didn't.
Yeah. And looking back, though, and I know obviously that it all fell apart, but in, a few years, but looking back, if you were Vince, would you have matched the deal? If for no other reason than to keep him out of WCW.
In retrospect, if you asked Vince in '97, I think he certainly would have said absolutely.
Yeah. I do think there would have been a lot of issues, because 94 and 95 were their biggest money-losing years ever, and that was without an absurd contract on the books. And especially at this point, I don't know if Hogan necessarily could have drawn any better than what the WWF ended up doing anyway. Because, and this is to bring this back to modern day wrestling, Hogan needed to get out of the territory and needed to go do something else. And that's one of the issues we have with modern day wrestling, where it's like I love Kofi Kingston. He should not be in WWE close to 20 years. I'm sorry, but it's absurd. And
not gonna miss you if you won't go away.
Yeah. And it's you can laugh, oh, AEW lost A, B, C, D, and E to WWE, and WWE lost A, B, C, D, and E to AEW. That is a good thing, people. That is a good fucking thing.
That is the way this fucking industry was designed to operate. You come in and you do your run and you fucking leave and go work somewhere else.
Yes. And it's literally, it's literally because of, WCW going out of business. Because TNA was never enough of a serious threat that, they got the Christians who needed to prove themselves and all the people that Vince fired. But R.D. Reynolds said it on a WrestleCrap radio. If John Cena went to TNA and asked them for a contract offer, and they said whatever, he'd take it back to Vince and he'd say, I'll pay you $1 more.
Uh-huh. You're right.
Yeah. But yeah. The other thing, and we talked about WrestleMania 10 a few weeks ago, and I think we mentioned how the show ended up running long. They canceled the 10-man tag. The Earthquake Atom Bomb match was cut to 30 seconds. And the thought at the time was that the undercard ran long. However, it came out this week that the undercard did not run long. Especially those first 6 matches before the Luger-Yokozuna match, any match that went over, the next match went equally under. So they were on pace to do exactly what the show is. The problem is either A, whoever put the show together thought they had a 4-hour pay-per-view window like they did for a lot of the WrestleManias around this time. WrestleManias 4 through 7 each had a 4-hour window. So it's possible they may have thought they had 4 hours. Or the other thing is maybe these people, their math wasn't mathing.
Well, math is hard. It's got a lot of numbers in it.
Apparently, Luger and Yokozuna was supposed to go 25 minutes in the ring.
No, you're lying to me.
That apparently was on the original booking sheet of the show. Now, it's possible, and I don't know if Dave was keeping this in mind when he was reporting this. He may not have been counting all of the pre- and post-match shenanigans. When they brought out all the celebrities, and then Mr. Perfect got into the argument with Lex Luger backstage. That may have been included in the 25-minute presentation, but the way Dave reported it, it was going to be a 25-minute match. And then Yoko was going to have a 17-minute match with Brett. And that got cut to 10. And he's like,
Why
who the
would you do
hell
that
booked
to poor
Yokozuna to go
Yokozuna?
42 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I forgot who said this, but I saw a shoot interview once with somebody that they said that Macho Man Randy Savage, I think it was a Bob Holly shoot interview, that Macho Man Randy Savage uh, cursed out Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels for going 6 minutes over, and so the 10-man tag got canceled. Well, according to Dave, the ladder match went almost to the second as long as it was scheduled to go. So it's possible somebody may have said, let's cut some time for this so we get the 10-man tag out there, and either nobody relayed the story or they just ignored it and just kept their 18-minute match. But also at the end of the day, the WrestleMania 10 ladder match, still one of, if not the greatest ladder match of all time. The 10-man tag that then happened on Raw a few weeks later, not the best 10-man tag of all time.
Oh, it wasn't as good as the Canadian
Hart
Stampede
Foundation versus Team US. No, it was
Yeah.
not as good as the Hart Foundation in Calgary, Alberta, Canada versus the United States. I thinking of Lance Storm, I had to laugh because I mentioned a few days ago I was watching the Chris Van Vliet interview with Lance Storm, and he mentioned, like, 'cause Chris asked about saying Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and like one of those things that's apparently just how Lance's normal speech pattern is, and he never thought it was a thing until it became a thing. Much like how in WCW, when he used to say, if I could be serious for a moment, and always point his two fingers at the hard camera, apparently he had no idea he was doing that until Bill DeMott did it when the MIA did a spoof of Team Canada. And Lance is like, why did you point at the camera when you did that? It's like, dude, that's what you do every fucking time.
That's really funny.
Yes. All right, so now that we're done plugging Chris Van Vliet, you think, he can return the favor sometime?
For
You
real.
know, Chris, I'm sure you're a nice guy. You're from Canada, and I always hear Canadians are all nice guys. Return the favor here, buddy.
Yeah, jerk.
Wow. I'm trying to kiss up to Chris, and you're calling him a jerk?
Yeah, it's funny because like a while back, he like a succession of like really scummy people. Like I remember Velveteen Dream, and there was a couple other ones. And I said at the time, it's only like a matter of time before he interviews Rock and Roll Bugs him off.
I thought you were going to say Joey Ryan.
I'm surprised he hasn't already.
So that's did we talk about that last week? A promoter in Portland booked Joey Ryan, and oh yeah, we did, because I mentioned that the show's not going to happen because the promoter basically said that the show's not going to happen anymore, and he still had tickets on sale.
Wow, yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Couldn't happen to a nice guy.
Has companies learned when the pandemic was beginning, telling people the show may not happen does not lead to robust ticket sales.
Yeah, people aren't very smart.
I have to laugh because I still remember I was planning on still going, like during that week where like COVID is happening, but Vince is being stubborn as fuck, because it's like they're not going to refund your tickets if the show still happens. So it's like, well, I'm going to be as careful as possible. I'll be as masked up as possible. But yeah.
Well,
but
luckily
thankfully
that
they canceled the show.
didn't be a problem. Yeah.
I still have the screenshot of the Ticketmaster saying WrestleMania 36 is canceled. It's like, it's just so fucking weird,
My wife is still annoyed that I didn't get her and I wasn't there t-shirt.
That is like the greatest shirt ever.
It was. I should have.
I regret it too. I'm like, that's like, I don't care. Like, yeah, WWE, the scummy ass company, run by some scummy ass people, but that was funny. You know,
Oh, yeah,
I should have
great
bought
shirt,
that
great
and
shirt.
got that and the Sin Cara penis shirt.
Yeah.
How did nobody see that when they were putting those shirts
How did
together?
how did nobody see the ACH blackface shirt?
See, I was trying to avoid mentioning that one, but yeah. And the thing is, apparently, like, because they run the designs by people, and apparently ACH was like, nah, brah. And they're like, yeah, brah. And it became a thing. What was his
Well, how about
name?
that? Jordan Miles.
I can't believe you remember that.
Well, I remember lots of things.
And it's funny because I remember he won the breakout tournament and got a shot at Adam Cole. And there was some very real speculation that he was going to beat Adam Cole for the title. And of course he didn't. And then like a couple of weeks later was all the t-shirt drama. And it's like, can you imagine if they would have put the title on him and then this all came out?
That would have been hilarious.
Because this was when Power Trips was getting his panties in a bunch. Because it was when AEW was kicking their ass, and um, so they were going live every week. It wasn't like, oh, we're taping a month of TV in advance, so we could just edit it out or redo the finish or something. But yeah,
Yeah, Hunter doesn't like it when people do better than him. He's a very, very insecure man.
he makes him the perfect person to replace Vince McMahon. Because I mean, come on, Vince replaced Hunter in charge of NXT because NXT lost the Wednesday Night War.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh Lord. And I'll be honestly curious if that really affects it because, especially at these days, like if you want to watch both shows, it is very fucking easy to watch both shows. Whichever one you decide to watch first, you can buy All Out the next day. You can watch WWE PLE the next day. Like, you do not have to choose one or the other. All Out tickets have been on sale forever. So even if WWE books a fucking show at the fucking Sky Dome, it's not like, oh, all these people who were going to buy tickets to AEW, now they went to the Sky Dome to watch WWE instead. It's like, no. Or what the fuck else? And plus this modern day where, and here's the thing, like, it's not like everyone talks about, oh, everyone's more toxic. It's all stand by my company. It's AEW or WWE. The same fucking thing happened with WWF or WCW. Well, we just didn't have the internet at the time to rip on each other all fucking day and night. But that's it too. The people who like AEW are going to watch AEW. And these are people who probably weren't going to watch WWE no matter what day the show was on. And the people who are going to watch the WWE show were the people who probably weren't going to watch the AEW show no matter what day of the week it was on. So, to me, it's like, I don't see it affecting either person. And maybe this will be one of those, well, I ended up being really wrong when Tony books, like, I don't know, Orange Cassidy versus Jack Perry as the main event or something and does 80,000 buys. But
yeah, that sounds like a Lulu of a main event.
I'm sure it would be a fine match, but if I was one of those people who's gonna either do one or the other, and one show has John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, and the other show is Orange Cassidy versus Jack Perry, all due respect and love, I'd watch John Cena and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I think I might. Well, I probably wouldn't. I don't care that much.
You'd probably watch both.
I might.
All right. So, anywho, we've gone an hour and 40 something minutes. I think it's about time we can call it quits for the day and quits for the week. Anything you want to plug to our fine listener?
The Oh My Godcast will be back eventually, and we will be back next week.
Yes, we will. Anyway, tonight I'm going to see Hailstorm and Volbeat. Tonight meaning Thursday, not tonight being Tuesday, because it'd be weird for me to go to a concert that begins after 10:12 p.m. Eastern Time. Spoiler alert for what time it currently is. I'm shooting here, I guess. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to going deaf on Thursday. Maybe I can take Friday off from work.
Can't wait for you to be deaf.
Yeah. So thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you again in 7 days.
Bye.